everyone, it's Holly and I'm filming on my phone for the first time because I know that this is better quality than my actual camera, but I don't have like a setup for it or anything, so this is kind of an experiment, but let's go. And of course my hair is down, so I'm going to touch it 50 million times because it's like what I do. So today I wanted to talk about TV shows. I'm more of a TV person than a movie person, which actually I feel like my parents are too, so maybe that's where I get it from. And historically I have been into two types of TV shows. The first is procedural crime dramas. Think like Law and Order, CSI, those kinds of things are procedural crime dramas. And then really corny shows. So I love corny humor. Like I like humor, but I really like corny humor. And I also like smart humor. Like I can appreciate other kinds of humor. I'm not like looking down on other kinds of humor. That's just what particularly appeals to me. And yes, I do know that it's really weird that I like corny and really smart humor, because those are two like very different ends of the spectrum. But it's what I like. And what I really like, and you will see this in the TV shows that I mention, is when procedural crime dramas meet corny humor. So, and these are in no particular order, just so you know. So first is Castle. I did not see the last season. I watched the first episode of it and I didn't really like it. And I decided that the season before that ended perfectly, with one exception. There's one thing I would have liked to have had happen. So, you know, and someday I'm sure I'll watch the last season, but not right now. But I love Castle, and it's definitely corny humor and a procedural crime drama. Number two is Psych on USA. And if you don't know and you are a Psych fan, then there is going to be a Psych movie this winter on USA, and I'm so excited. Like, the whole cast is back. I just love Psych. It's a great show to watch. If you've never seen it, it is on Netflix if you want to check it out. I own almost all of the seasons on DVD, but I do watch it on Netflix, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so funny. There is Stitchers on Freeform, formerly ABC Family. And the third season is actually starting soon. It'll probably have already started when you see this. It started at the beginning of June. Oh my gosh. I love this show. It's kind of ridiculous because it's about a girl who has this fake like brain condition, and then there's this group of people who like stitch her consciousness into other people's dead body brains to like relive their memories to solve crimes. And there's no way you can explain. I have no idea how this show got made, because I would just like to know what the pitch was, because when I try to explain it to people, I feel like I make it sound like the dumbest show in the world. But I really enjoy it. It's very funny. It does have serious moments though, but it has tons of humor. It has a great cast, strong female characters, and it has Alison Scagliotti in it. And she's like one of the best people ever. She's basically the reason I started watching the show, and then I just kept watching it because I really enjoy it. And season 1 and season 2 are both on Hulu if you want to watch them. Firefly, I feel like this shouldn't be much of a surprise. I think a lot of people now really like Firefly. I watched it as it aired, and I own it on DVD, and I watch it a lot, and I really like it. I think it's a great show. I think it has a great message, and I am one of those people who doesn't want Firefly to ever come back. Don't get me wrong, like, I wouldn't hate it if it happened, because I love Serenity and everything, but I think part of what makes it such a great show is that it did end so soon. So like, who knows what would have happened if it kept going on. Like, it could have sucked. You know, like so many TV shows start to suck in the end, and I'm just so glad that that didn't happen. Plus, after Serenity, I wouldn't want there to be another show following Serenity, and if you've seen Serenity, you probably know why. Then there is Leverage, which is without a doubt my favorite TV show. I have talked about this before. It was on TNT, it is on Netflix, and I believe it is on Hulu as well. If you want to check it out, it's about a group of criminals who team up to kind of right wrongs in like a Robin Hood kind of way, and it's pretty funny. And then there is Eli Stone, which is probably the least known show. I don't know anyone in my life who has ever seen this, except for my mother, who has seen it because she watched it with me because I own it on DVD. It was killed by the writer's strike, and so it only aired for 2 seasons. It's about a lawyer who's kind of like a bad lawyer, he's not horrible, but he's willing to do bad things and stuff and not be a super good person to win and to make money and everything. And then he starts having these hallucinations, visions, whatever you want to call them, and believe them to be typically surrounding George Michael songs that start guiding him in his cases. And he is diagnosed with a brain aneurysm, and so his brother, who's a doctor, thinks that it's the aneurysm, and then there's this other guy who's an acupuncturist. It makes sense in the context of the show, I promise. Thinks that he's getting guidance from God, and the show does a really good job of kind of making you decide what's going on. And it is a procedural law show, just like any other law show, except it does push you a little bit when it comes to faith and what to believe in or not. And every episode has musical components to it, typically George Michael, but season 2 branches out a little bit. And a lot of the actors are doing all of their own singing. So I can't remember the woman who plays his assistant, Patty, but she's amazing. I've seen her in other stuff. She has a beautiful voice. Victor Garber is in it, who I love. And the Eli Stone is the main character. It's played by Johnny Lee Miller. He's from Elementary, if you've seen that. And then another show from ABC, Eli Stone was on ABC, killed by the writer's strike, was Pushing Daisies. This show, I think, is a little more popular. It's a crime drama, but a guy can bring people back to life. He brings back his childhood crush back to life. But he can't ever touch her, because if he touches her again, she'll die. So there's it's the ultimate in angsty love stories. It's very funny, it's very beautiful, it's very whimsical. The guy who narrates the Harry Potter audiobooks, I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up, narrates this television show. It's so great. If you've ever seen Eli Stone or Pushing Daisies, please let me know down in the comments, because I would just love to talk to people who have seen these shows. And then there's NCIS. Now, I have not watched it really since Ziva left, since Cody DePablo left. Not because I have a problem with that. Well, I do have a problem with that. It's not true. I watched last season. I don't know if this current season has ended or not. When Michael Weatherly left, I watched his last episode. I did do that. And I'm not sure if I will ever watch those episodes. I think the show has lost a lot of its charm, but I really enjoy it. Yankee White, the pilot, I can just watch over and over again. The only thing that's sad about the first 2 seasons is very little to no McGee and no Cody DePablo. But Sasha Alexander is amazing in it, so it's okay. But this is one of those shows that it's just it has a decent amount of humor, but it's very much in a CSI vein. And this is actually a spin-off of Jag, and I watched Jag growing up, so there's always that in my heart. Is that and they'll do callbacks to Jag, and I don't know if they still do that, but they did for a long time. And there is Bones, which is another show that I feel got pretty weak towards the end, but in the end it was still a strong show. Procedural crime drama, tons of humor, great ensemble cast. Sweets is my favorite character on the show, in case you're wondering. It just wrapped up its final season, and much needed final season, let's be honest. But I've loved this show, and I will always rewatch it. I own most of the seasons on DVD again. Actually, with the exception of Stitchers, I own most of these shows on DVD, or most of their seasons on DVD. And then the last one is Supernatural. I haven't been watching this for the last few seasons, but I definitely will get into it again. The reason I stopped watching this show is because it's too hard for me to watch week to week. It's too much of like an emotional drain on me to deal with like the cliffhangers and everything. So it's definitely a kind of show I have to wait for it to finish before I can watch it, and I just haven't gotten around to getting caught up on the seasons that I missed. I also did stop at one point because a character died that I was very upset about, and it was just like a very rough time for me emotionally. That's so ridiculous, but it's true. But I still really enjoy this show. I actually really want to start watching it over again, since I own so many of the seasons, like start with season 1 and just go through, and or I guess I could go on Netflix. What am I talking about? But I do really enjoy the show. I'm really sad that Katie Cassidy isn't in it anymore and that she was only in it for a season, because she was like my favorite side character, although I do love Misha Collins as Castiel like everybody else, please. But I do really like it, and I don't normally like creepy things, so this is like as creepy as I can really get. But those are my 10 favorite shows. This video is probably a lot longer than I planned on it being, but thank you so much for watching. If you want to tell me anything about your favorite TV shows, or if you've watched any of these, if you like them, if you hate them, if you have any suggestions that are similar to them for me, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I would certainly appreciate that, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!